What's up, everybody? P691000 here, back with another video. Today we're going to be continuing the Haunted States series with New Hampshire. And I've got some good ones in store for you guys today, so hopefully you enjoy it. Let's get into it. The Legend of Goody Cole. Despite the 17th century frenzy in New England for hunting witches, the story holds that only one such woman was ever found guilty of witchcraft in the state of New Hampshire. Goodwife Eunice Cole of Hampton, Massachusetts, was so adamantly suspected to be a witch that she was arrested in 1680 for the third time and was thrown into jail with a chain on her leg. She had a mumbling habit, which was bad for the time, and a wild look, which was even worse for the time. The death of 2 calves had been charged to her sorcery, and she was believed to have raised the cyclone that sent a party of merrymakers to the sea bottom. Some said that Goody Cole took the shape of eagles, dogs, and cats, and that she had the aspect of an ape when she went through the murmurs that caused Goody Martin's child to die. Yet while she was in jail, a likeness of her was stumping about the graveyard on the day when they buried the child. For such offenses, including making bread ferment and giving forth evil odors, she was several times whipped and dumped by the constable. Goody Cole was eventually released after several years due to failing health and returned to her hometown of Hampton, where she was given a hut to live out the rest of her days. Even in death, Goody Cole was not free from ridicule. Goody's ghost was blamed for multiple travesties in the area, including the sinking of a ship that claimed the lives of 8 locals. Some report having seen a ghost-like woman wandering the streets of Hampton, inquiring where she can find a memorial for Goody Cole. The Cachiko Falls Millworks Fire. On January the 26th, 1907 at 6:30 a.m., a fire broke out on the 4th floor of Cachiko Mill. The sprinkler system was under repair, so the fire spread rapidly. Power was shut off, leaving panicked workers attempting to escape in darkness and smoke. The building had only one fire escape, and many workers were injured when they leaped from the windows. Firefighters battled the flames for 36 hours. Their efforts were hampered by 30-degree temperatures. It was so cold that the water from the fire engines froze almost immediately. Some of the fire hoses were accidentally cut by the buggy wheels of sightseers. Thousands of spectators from Portsmouth, Rochester, Rowlandsford, Durham, and Newmarket came to watch. Police had to send all officers to control the crowds, many of whom came from Dover's 60 bars. The police station filled to capacity with intoxicated spectators. In the end, 4 lives were lost in the fire, and 2 more men would later die from their injuries. The building was $1 million loss. Just a few days before the fire, the mutual insurance company proclaimed the Chico Mills was excellent. Since then, the building has been refurbished and transformed into offices and apartments. The restored building, however, is plagued by a persistent haunting. Strange lights have been seen on the 4th floor, along with the sound of machines starting and stopping. Strange voices have been heard crying out from the building, but when further investigated, it is found that no one is there. The River Road Jogger. The River Road Jogger shows up on River Road in Manchester on Halloween night, between 1:45 and 2:20 in the morning, running in a red sweatshirt and red running shorts. According to the book, haunted New Hampshire, he started showing up in the late 1970s, and no one knows why. He doesn't appear to be running from anything, and there are no reports of a hit and run or a jogger being killed along the path. He just runs. It's become a thing to go out and see him. People line River Road sipping hot chocolate and waiting for him to run by. He doesn't interact with anyone, and at the height of his run, he appears to be a normal runner until he runs right through you. The Haunting of Archer's Pond. Myth engulfs both Archer's Pond and the forest that surrounds it. While stories are varied and range from plague deaths to misguided teenage love, one of the most pervasive is the story of Polly. Polly lived in the woods with her husband, where they struggled to survive both the elements and their crushing poverty. Polly longed to buy a new pair of shoes to protect her feet from the snow, ice, and the rocky terrain. However, her husband refused, insisting they barely had funds to keep the couple alive. Despite his protests, Polly bought a pair of cheap shoes, and upon being discovered, was brutally decapitated by her husband. Overcome by grief, the husband hanged himself exactly 1 week after having taken an axe to his wife's neck. Legend holds that the ghost of both Polly and her murderous husband roam the woods around Archer's Pond, never being able to find eternal rest. The Haunting of South Street Cemetery. There are many creepy legends associated with the haunted South Street Cemetery, formerly known as Point of Graves Burial Ground in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Ruth Blaze tragic history. North of the pond lays the former location of Gallows Hill. In 1768, Ruth Blaze was hanged there for hiding her stillborn child underneath the floorboards of the barn on June the 10th. 4 days later, the remains were discovered by 5-year-old Betsy Piggleton. If a mother gave birth to a stillborn child without any witnesses, she was required to report it. A group of men would determine if there was foul play, but because she hid the remains, she was charged with concealment. The trial lasted throughout the year until being convicted of a capital crime punishable by hanging. After 2 reprieves, she was hanged on December the 30th and buried in an unmarked grave. A Lost Lover. About 500 feet into the cemetery, if you enter by Little Harbor Road, you may feel an overwhelming sense of loneliness and sadness. Many have reported having this feeling, and many believe it is from the grave of a 20-year-old woman who passed away in the early 1900s. Legend has it, her husband had died during the Spanish-American War of 1898, and the depression that followed both mentally and historically led her to commit suicide. Some say she still waits for her lost love by the grave. 3 Chimneys Inn. The 3 Chimneys Inn, 17th New Market Road, was built in 1649 by entrepreneur Valentine Hill. Hill had a daughter, Hannah, who was married in 1659 at the age of 20. After her marriage, there is reportedly no further mention of Hannah, and it is believed that she drowned in the Oyster River located behind the inn. But according to legend, Hannah has never left the inn. Innkeeper Karen Mayer, who has worked there for 12 years, believes there are spirits that reside at the inn, including Hannah. Things happen that are tough to explain, she says, but nothing evil. Silverware will go missing and then show back up. We've had doors lock themselves. Employees are not the only ones who have reported paranormal activity. Mayors recalled a woman who was staying in the main house reporting she heard an older woman whisper in her ear. We have an awful lot of people say that furniture is moving around in rooms above them when there wasn't any guests up there, Mayers says. Things like that are hard to explain. Val Cemetery, the Blue Lady. The oldest grave in the cemetery, that of Phoebe Cram, dates from 1752. The cemetery is first mentioned in town records in 1772, when the town voted to fence the burying ground. In 1780, the town voted to upgrade the fence to a stone wall and to build a road to the cemetery. Someone donated more land to the burying ground in 1869, and in 1871 it was named the Val End Cemetery. According to legends, the Blue Lady has haunted Val End Cemetery for generations, but some of Wilton's older residents say the story only dates back to the 1970s. The Blue Lady is said to be the ghost of Mary Ritter Spalding, who died at the age of 35 and was buried in the cemetery in 1808. Mary was the first wife of Captain Isaac Spalding and shares a grave with his second wife, also named Mary Spalding. By all accounts, Mary Ritter Spalding was a kind and loving wife and good mother to her 7 children. Some people even say that Mary worked as a healer in Wilton and cured illnesses with herbal remedies. Her benign nature while alive is reflected in her activities as a ghost. The Blue Lady manifests primarily as a column of blue light above her grave, and more infrequently as a woman in old-fashioned attire wandering through the cemetery. Does she have unfinished business? Is she watching over loved ones buried around her? Many people have seen the blue light over her grave. Toll Hill's Ghostly Horse. Perhaps one of New Hampshire's most unique hauntings. It is said that the ghost of a horse who sought shelter in an abandoned building during a blizzard became trapped. It is still trying to escape even in death. Many have seen the ghostly horse run by them. The horse is said to have a ghostly glow and can sometimes be seen running in the dark as it lights up the ground around it. The most famous story of the ghostly horse is of a man named Tom Riddle, who was on vacation with his family in the area in 1993. While driving down a backcountry road at night, Tom and his family were laughing and having a good time until he saw what he thought was a white horse running out of the woods. He attempted to hit his brakes, but he knew he wasn't going to be able to stop in time, so he told his family to hold on and get ready for impact. Then something strange happened. The horse ran through the car and across the other side of the road and then disappeared into the woods. Tom couldn't believe what had happened, and when he told the sheriff about the experience, the sheriff looked at him, laughed, and said, "You've just seen a ghost." What's up, everybody? P691,000 here. That's it for Creepy New Hampshire. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I have to say the most interesting story in this one for me was the ghostly horse. I've been doing research into the paranormal for a lot of years, been making paranormal videos for a lot of years. Came across ghostly cats, ghostly dogs, even ghostly birds. But that was my first ghostly horse. Pretty cool. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't know what I'll be doing next time. Next time I upload, it'll probably be St. Patrick's Day, so we might be doing something creepy with Ireland. We'll have to see. But I hope I see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed this. And peace, love. I love you all. Have a great day. See you next time.